Every episode on Celebrity Encounters podcast, we interview real people just like you, sharing their own personal celebrity encounters. And with a little storytelling help from us and a few surprises from here in Las Vegas, this is Celebrity Encounters podcast. Hi, everybody. I'm Harlan and
I'm Alan.
Yes, he is. That is Alan. And this is Celebrity Encounters podcast. We have a very fun guest for you today. It's Harvey Korman's son, Chris Korman. Woo!
Good night.
Hey, Chris. I understand you're going to share an insider story about
Tim Conway and my father.
Oh man, Tim Conway.
Or at their worst, depending on how you look at it.
I love Tim Conway.
I do too. Both of them were just so great.
He was Tim Conway and your dad were the best. They could crack me up. Just their timing was impeccable.
It was. It was just fun because they never had worked together prior to the Burnett Show, I think.
Is that where they first met? Was on the show?
Yeah, because now Tim had done it. Tim had done it Gary Moore with Carol, so they knew each other. But my dad had never worked with Tim. And he thought, I can tell this story at a different time, but the dentist sketch was the first time they ever worked together.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Which gives you an idea just how old I am. I'm born the same year as the Burnett Show. So 67 was, I think, the first time they had worked together. And Tim brought the dentist in on his own.
That was hysterical.
That and Tim were going to work well together. Because they didn't know that their livings were going to work together. So this one sketch, which was more painful for Tim than it was for anybody else, in so many different ways. They're doing a submarine sketch. There are two Japanese submariners, and being a klutz that Tim is, he does a lot of things that end up hurting my father. Now, what I didn't know until many years later, that day Tim decided to have a vasectomy.
Oh. Okay.
Well, you know where this is headed.
And this is back in the day. Okay.
So there's, the telescope thing comes down, or the periscope comes down, and the two bars are separated by this round section. I don't know if my dad had realized that Tim had this snip work done that day, but the first sketch was when I don't know what that thing is called.
Periscope, yeah.
Comes down. Somehow Tim had shot the bottom of the submarine, so water's now going up. Okay, now Tim is now completely wet from the crotch down. He finds a way to get both one leg on each side of the handles on the periscope, and he goes up and it comes down on his nether region.
Oh. And real quickly, because I absolutely remember this sketch. It was such a memorable thing. And he kept going up and down and up and down. And Harvey's trying to keep it together like he always is. And
he's trying to support Tim without breaking, because Tim is now crying in Japanese. Because he's not only wet, he's wet, and his
boys are in trouble.
Yeah, his boys were in trouble. And the worst part is he had to do a second one that night. But my dad's thinking, you know what, I have been busting Tim's balls for years, and tonight he decides to do it to himself.
Well played.
But what's funny is that you can see Tim, when it goes up the first time, it doesn't quite come down too fast the first time. The second time it came down, I think the guys upstairs thought, let's really bring Tim down hard the second time. I think the stagehands thought, let's really bust Tim's balls tonight. Because you could tell Tim was crying in Japanese, and I couldn't tell if it was the first show or the second show they aired, because both of them looked like, both times Tim was crying so hard, and my dad was trying to hoist him up and get his legs up, and he's still wet. Now they're both wet, and Tim is crying and laughing. My dad's in Japanese, and they're both laughing and crying in Japanese. I'm thinking, oh my God. And but what possessed Tim to do that on the day he was doing it?
Right. There's 7 days of the week. He couldn't find a doctor that would do it on like a Sunday or a Monday.
And he knew he was going to do this sketch because it's not something you walk into.
Right.
You know what? I bet you he had a close call with the wifey poo and it was like, okay, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. No more children.
Well, he already had 6.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like
5 boys and 1 girl.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think when they had the close call on number 7, he was like, "Okay, I'm going to the doctor. There's no way I want one more. No offense to the rest of the kids."
So my dad said to Joe Hamilton, Carol's husband, was like, "How do you think we're going to snip this together?" Oh, I mean, how are you going to put these? Dad tried to find every phrase that he could come up with that was not going to offend Tim's friend, and it just got worse. And Dad said, and Joe's like, "Harvey, I think we get your point." I said, "I don't think Tim's got a point."
Keep going, baby. This is good.
And I'm like, so the second taping, my dad said, I said, someone's going to have to tape Tim's nether regions back together after the first show. And I can't see us do the second show without this getting worse. And I actually think if you watch the second one, the Periscope going down, I think the guy let Tim down a little too fast on the second one.
Oh.
The first one was not as painful. But the second one, you actually compare the clunk.
Oh.
You can hear his bottom part, his back leg, hit the bottom of the step floor.
Oh.
And yes, it was wet, but you could hear the clunking. And my dad said, "Oh God, this doesn't go well with Tim." Or I could tell they have to still finish the sketch. And then here's the worst part. There's a part at the end where Tim opens the missile with a missile.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they had to pull Tim through the missile thing, and they pulled him right on top of his. So 2 different times they threw Tim onto his nether region.
Wow, what a pro!
And my dad's like, "I've been suffering with this little you-know-what for about 8 years, and he busted his own balls, and I didn't even get to contribute." There's no poetic justice in comedy.
Oh my God!
But my dad always reminded Tim out all of you, like, if we ever have to do a Japanese sketch, I said, "Harvey, I already have them fixed." I said, "Good, because I'm not holding your ass in water again." It's not a pleasant experience.
Let me ask you a question. So sure. I had met somebody who had worked on Mork and Mindy with Robin Williams. And essentially, they had to do so many different takes because, oh my God, I'm having a second. Williams wouldn't do the lines the way they were supposed to each time. He was such a comedic genius that he'd do it once and then another, and each one was completely different type of thing because he just felt he could find something better, funnier, weirder, that kind of thing. Was that the same thing since they did 2 shows plus the rehearsals, was there an evolution? Evolution, Jesus.
Evolution is okay.
I have to say that honestly, my dad first thought of the idea that he was called an undisciplined performer because he broke out. He got that moniker for a lot of people, and he bristled, and someone referred to him as an undisciplined performer because Tim did never take 2 shows alike.
Yeah.
As they say, the first one was for Cam, the second one was for Tim.
Right.
So Tim could go out and do the elephant story in the mama sketch. My dad was not on at that time. Big Dad was on that time. Because Carol was very precise that there were no jokes and there was no breaking the fourth wall. And, you guys can, you could see a boom or a reaction or a reflection of the camera. That's going to happen. I mean, they're not doing masterpiece theater. They're not doing Studio One.
Right.
They were trying to be as professional as they could. But my dad would bristle if he all said that they woke up on purpose. He didn't break up because Tim never told Harvey what he was going to do from show to show. There are some people who find out professional. You can make two arguments here, guys. That breaking up breaks that fourth wall, but also it makes the actors more relatable to their audience at home and in the studio. That when they saw Dad and Tim in the public, it made them feel more accessible to the public. And that's good for the ratings because people will come back the next week to see this great magic that they had together.
Sure.
My dad, from the standpoint of artistry, with Crystal, because many years later, Lauren Michael said, I don't like the breaking up stuff. I said, are you kidding me? Saturday Night Live is a breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live is so in baseball. Even the toilet guys fixing the toilets at Rockefeller Center don't get it. I mean, so this idea, my dad spending 4 years on Danny Kaye, 10 years on the Burnett Show, he mastered the art of sketch comedy, and he was one of the best. If you brought us the breaking the fourth wall of breaking up, we get pissed because he didn't want to be known that he was an undisciplined performer. And in their minds, that idea. Okay.
What was Tim like off camera? Like,
very shy, actually, very quiet. He could get on. He could be funny. It's like my dad had this thing, Bart. They had this little joke with each other. He would say, Harvey could do the New York crossword puzzle in pencil, but he can't tie his shoe. Because he was not always comfortable with those serious moments in life. He always had to break it with humor. From what, in Tim, you learned that Tim liked light moments around him. He didn't like drama. So
he had 6 kids. What are you talking about? That's
lots of drama.
Yeah. But
are any of his kids in the business?
Well, Tim Conway Jr. has his own radio show in LA, and his daughter Kelly is a seamstress and wardrobe lady for TV and movies and commercials. Even the rest of them work.
Were any of his kids in the same age range as you?
Some of them are. Yeah, we used to go to all the tapings. Yeah, it was like Carol's kids, me and my sister, Lyle's kids, and big kid children were not born yet. But so there was 2 of us, Tim's 6th kid, and Carol's 3 daughters, Jody, Aaron, and Carrie. And we usually went to the first taping.
And that was the whole studio audience.
The second taping was going to be, they're going to go out and drink and they'll be children.
Sure.
That kind of language.
You're slowing us down, kid.
Yeah. Like, we don't need to have our kids hearing little language from their parents. Although, I think, I think Joey and I, we all know that, these are, they are our parents, but they're also adults.
Sure. Did you guys live near each other at all? Like,
I correspond more with Jody because she's on Facebook.
Right. But growing up, what part of town were each of your homes in? Do you remember?
My dad lived in Bel Air.
Okay.
The Sunset, which is near UCLA.
Sure.
Now, I lived in Santa Monica because my mom and dad got divorced in Sunny Stubbing, and my stepfather is some weird twist of fate. My stepfather, George DiCenzo, played Vincent Bugliosi in Helter Skelter.
Oh, wow.
He's the one that hits Michael J. Fox with the car, Back to the Future 1.
Oh, wow.
That's my stepfather.
Oh, wow. Trippy. Okay.
And so I've been in Santa Monica with my dad on George during the week, and on Friday nights in the 80s, the one and I would drive over to CBS, and my dad was correcting Mom's family.
What about Carol? Where did she live with her kids?
She lived in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that's what I seem to remember too. And Tim, where did he live?
He lived in an apartment the casino.
Oh, okay.
That's the first time I actually got to meet Don Knotts. I had never met him, and now I'm good friends with Lisa Knotts, with Carrie Knotts. I'm friends with Carrie Knotts now.
And Don Knotts was over at Tim's house or something?
They're having a party with all the Burnett Show people and everybody, and Don Knotts was coming out of the gate, and I was walking in. So I just said, hi, I'm Chris. I'm part of the Chris and me, and he shook my head. So many years I told Karen, that your father was very kind to me the complete time we talked. Your dad was just so kind. And so she did a one-woman show called Tied Up in Knots.
The only movie that, well, besides Mayberry RFD, Don Knotts. Yep. Was the movie where he turned into a dolphin, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. The Incredible Mr. Olympic.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. I remember him more from that because I absolutely love that movie. I
kind of identified Don with Tim in many ways through the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
You go to Disney, you meet your animal, you get lunch, you get a watch, and you get to go home. They forget to pay you.
Yeah.
So, my dad's association with Tim is probably, as vibrant now as it's ever been. Also, my dad's association with Mel. My dad did 4 first films, Blazing, Sal's High Anxiety, History of the World, and Dracula Dead and Loving It.
We're going to have to save that for another episode, Chris. We're running out of time, and I know you've got a ton of great stories. I can't thank you enough for being on the show with us. Just everything about your dad makes us smile. And especially all the wonderful stories and positive stories you've had with so many people in Hollywood is just absolutely phenomenal.
It's my pleasure, guys.
We appreciate it.
With you guys. So I could do your show all day, all night, all along.
I get a sense of that. And since we've just done 42 shows today, I think as we move over to the Indian casino down the strip,
at Palms, the Indians own Palms now.
That's
yeah,
right. We'll be recording there someday with a live studio audience instead of inflatables here in the wonderful Sun City Anthem TV studio.
He'd be great in our first live show.
Oh my God, absolutely! Yes. Oh my God, absolutely. So,
you guys ever do one, I will be there.
Okay,
I'm going to hold you to that, Chris.
I hope so.
So thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this episode of Celebrity Encounters Podcast. I'm Harlan.
I'm Alan, and we'll see you next time.
All right,
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in today, and if you enjoyed our show, please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on all your favorite platforms. We'll see you next week with the next episode of Celebrity Encounter Podcast.